The bear was standing at the edge of the tree line, full-grown, 400 pounds, and it was walking directly toward the farmhouse. The woman inside saw it through the kitchen window and felt her stomach drop, until she realized the bear was not approaching the house, it was approaching the dog. Her golden retriever, 11 years old now, was lying in the afternoon sun on the grass near the back porch, and the bear walked straight to her, lowered its enormous head, and pressed its nose into the dog's fur. What Carol witnessed through that kitchen window on a Tuesday afternoon in rural Vermont was the moment a wild black bear, 2 years after being released into the forest, came back. Not for food, not by accident. It came back for the dog who had kept it alive when nothing else could. This is that story. It begins in late April, 2 years earlier. Carol, 58 years old, ran a small organic farm with her husband, Neil, 61, in the green hills of central Vermont. They grew vegetables, kept a modest flock of chickens, and had lived quietly on the same 40 acres for over 2 decades. Their golden retriever, a dog named Honey, broad-chested and deep gold, 11 years old now but 9 at the time, had been with them since she was 8 weeks old. She had never been a working dog. She was a companion. She slept by the fire, followed Carol from room to room, and greeted every visitor to the property with the same unshakable warmth that golden retrievers carry like a second coat. Neil found the cub on a Wednesday morning in the lower field. She was curled against the base of a white birch tree, approximately 6 to 8 weeks old, barely the size of a house cat, alone and making no sound at all, which experienced wildlife handlers will tell you is the most alarming sign of all. A healthy bear cub that age makes noise. This one had stopped. Neil called the state wildlife rehabilitator immediately. The rehabilitator, a woman named Patricia who had worked with black bears for 19 years, drove out the same afternoon and assessed the cub. No mother appeared in 2 hours of patient waiting. The cub was severely dehydrated and hypothermic. Patricia's facility was 40 minutes away and already beyond capacity with spring intake. She looked at Neil and Carol and made a practical, experienced decision. She showed them how to prepare the formula, how to feed it, what to watch for, and what to call her about. Then she left them with a 4-pound bear cub, a bag of powdered milk replacer, and the quiet understanding that the next 72 hours would determine everything. They set the cub up in a deep cardboard box lined with fleece in the mudroom. Carol fed her every 3 hours through the first night, setting an alarm, stumbling to the mudroom in the dark with a warmed bottle. The cub was weak and slow to feed. By the second night, she was slightly stronger. By the third morning, she was making noise. Honey's involvement was not planned. It was not staged. On the second day, when Carol left the mudroom door open for 30 seconds while carrying laundry, Honey walked in, sniffed the box once, and lay down beside it. Carol started to call her away, then she stopped, because the cub, who had been restless and crying, went quiet, and Honey put her chin on the edge of the box. That was the beginning. Within a week, Honey was sleeping against the box every night. Within 2 weeks, the cub, named Clover by Carol because she had been found at the edge of a clover field, was climbing out of the box to press herself against Honey's side. Honey, 9 years old, and gentle in the particular way that older dogs become gentle, allowed it completely. She groomed Clover with the same patient licking she might have given a puppy. She tolerated the clumsy climbing, the needle-sharp cub claws, the enthusiastic pawing. When Clover cried at night, Honey's breathing would deepen and slow, a sound researchers have documented as having a direct calming effect on infant mammals, and Clover would settle. Patricia visited every 2 weeks to assess Clover's development and ensure the process was being managed correctly. She was careful to limit human bonding, no eye contact during feeding, limited direct handling by Carol and Neil, all interaction kept functional rather than affectionate on the human side. The goal was always a wild bear. But Honey was not human, and what Honey and Clover built between them existed in a different category than the rehabilitator's protocols were designed to address. By 12 weeks, Clover was eating solid food. By 16 weeks, she was large enough to spend the days in an outdoor enclosure Patricia had helped Neil build, a spacious, fenced area against the tree line where Clover could climb, forage, and begin to practice being a bear. Honey would lie against the outside of the fence for hours. Clover would press against the wire on her side. Neither of them seemed to find this arrangement insufficient. At 6 months, on a cool September morning, Patricia and 2 wildlife technicians came to release Clover into the forest beyond the farm's back boundary. It was done quickly and cleanly, the way experienced rehabilitators do it. No ceremony, no lingering, because ceremony is for humans and lingering confuses animals. The crate opened, Clover walked into the tree line and did not look back. Honey walked to the edge of the yard and sat down facing the forest. She sat there for the better part of an hour before Neil came and brought her inside. 2 years, nothing. Carol thought about Clover when she passed the birch tree in the lower field. Neil reinforced the chicken enclosure that autumn and again the following spring because bears have excellent memories for food sources, and neither of them knew what Clover would remember. Patricia received reports from the wildlife GPS grid of a young female black bear in the area, healthy and establishing territory, which she relayed to the farm. It was the most they could hope for. And then it was a Tuesday afternoon in late September, and Carol was standing at the kitchen window watching a 400-pound black bear walk out of the tree line and cross the back field in broad daylight, moving with the particular purposeful calm of an animal that knows exactly where it is going. Honey was lying in the afternoon sun near the porch. She raised her head when she heard the footsteps in the grass. She did not bark. She did not rise. She waited. Clover walked to within 3 feet of Honey and lowered her enormous head. She pressed her nose into the fur behind Honey's ear, the same place Honey used to groom her when she was 4 pounds and crying in a cardboard box, and she exhaled slowly. Honey's tail moved once against the grass. They stayed like that for 4 minutes. Then Clover raised her head, turned, and walked back into the tree line. She did not take anything from the yard. She did not go near the chickens. She did not approach the house. She came, she found Honey, and she left. Carol was crying before she reached the back door. Neil called Patricia that evening and described what had happened. There was a long pause on the line. Then Patricia said she had been doing this work for 21 years and read every piece of literature on black bear cognition, memory, and social bonding that existed. She said that what Clover did had a name in the research. It was called a reunion behavior. It had been documented in elephants, in wolves, in certain great apes. It had been documented in bears exactly twice before in controlled research settings. Honey died the following spring, at 12 years old, on a warm April morning on the same back porch where Clover had found her. Carol buried her at the edge of the lower field, near the white birch tree. That autumn, Carol found large bear tracks in the soft earth near the burial site. They came from the tree line, circled the spot twice, and returned to the forest. She did not tell many people. Some things are too complete to need an audience. If this story reached something in you that you are not quite ready to name, hit the like button and subscribe. We tell the stories that remind you what animals actually are, and there are more coming every week that you will not want to miss.